Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much for being part of our most recent wonderful family holidays virtual showcase, which we've got this afternoon. So welcome to the latest Travel Bulletin webinar. As more and more of the population is vaccinated over the next few weeks, we are hoping that the market will start moving again, with family holidays bookings being one of the first markets to take off. Hopefully today's training will increase your awareness of some of the destinations and the hotels that you will be booking in the very near future. So here's how it's going to run today. Each of our supplier partners will deliver a 10-minute live presentation on their particular product or region, which will then be followed by a Q&A session. If you can submit your questions using the Q&A function as each presentation takes place, that really helps, and we'll get through as many questions as we can. I'm going to say this right at the start because it really helps me, and I panic if there's no questions on there because I feel for the wonderful presenters and I want to ask them to think of the questions that they might want to ask and then fire them across to me and I can ask the presenters. Each presenter will also announce their competition prize and question at the end of their training session. And you'll need to enter your answers via our website when the webinar is finished. In terms of that, you go to travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition, but we'll give you further details on that again at the end of the webinar. The deadline to win today's prizes will be Wednesday, the 24th of February at 4 o'clock. We've got some great prizes up for grabs later, including goodie bags. We've got a complimentary 4-night all-inclusive stay for two adults and 2 children at the Aldemarknossus Royal in Crete. Also, we've got a 4-night B&B stay for 2 in a superior double room at the Marjan Island Resort and Spa in the Ras Al Khaimah. So good luck to everyone. Fingers crossed that you'll bag a prize later on. Okay, we've now, I think, got about 120 agents watching, which is fantastic news. Really, really good. Hopefully we've got more joining all the time, so that's good. Without further ado, let's introduce today's first presenter. Please welcome Dimitris Sikaris, the head of sales at Ras Al Khaimah. Dimitris, how are you?
Hello everyone. I'm actually really excited to be joining you today. I would say good afternoon not from London, not from the UK. I'm actually in Athens, where I am originally from. You know how the Greek parents are. They were saying to me, Dimitris, you are on lockdown, so we thought you just come here to work from Athens. So, I couldn't say no to that. I am really happy to be joining you today, and massive thank you to the Travel Bulletin team for putting this wonderful group of people together. I know how hard it is for all of us to actually do our job nowadays. So thank you so much for assisting us all.
Well, that's fantastic. We're very lucky to have you, and we welcome you as we have done not only in the past to our live events, but thank you very much for joining your first virtual event with us. So
you're welcome.
I'm glad to hear you're well. I'm going to pass over to you now. You can share your screen and please tell us more about Ras Al Khaimah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to share my screen with you all. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So do that, and we are soon. So maybe you've seen this presentation before. I would need to first properly introduce myself. My name is Dimitris. I am head of sales at PRM Global, which is the sales representation company of Ras Al Khaimah. Ras Al Khaimah is one of the 7 Emirates in the UAE. We started working with this beautiful destination literally 6 years ago, and we are so proud of the progress that the destination has achieved in the UK market over these 6 years. I mean, we went from, questions like, what, Ras Al Khaimah, where is that? To, I have sent families there, I have sent couples there, which is, of course, the most rewarding thing. I would originally show you a beautiful award-winning, actually, video, but it would make the file really big. So I'm just going to skip that and continue with the presentation. Possibly the key thing to remember about Ras Al Khaimah is the location. It's just 45 minutes away from Dubai International Airport. There used to be several direct flights from various airports in the UK to Dubai International Airport, and then you're just 45 minutes away by car. So it's an easily accessible destination. Some key facts about Ras Al Khaimah: it's the fourth largest emirate in the UAE. Actually, in the local language, it translates into the top of the tent, purely because of its location. It's the northernmost emirate. It has a small population covering a relatively small area, with an ambitious goal of reaching 3 million tourists by the end of 2025. 4 unique selling points: 64 kilometers of beautiful natural sandy beaches, terracotta-colored desert, natural mangroves, which actually extend into the very center of the old city, and mountains. Yes, there are mountains in the UAE. They are in Ras Al Khaimah, and of course, the highest peak of them is in this emirate. This is a map that I really love. We actually show this all the time because it puts everything in perspective. On the left-hand side, you have the mountains area where the mountain activities are offered. In the center, you have the oldest part of the destination, Ras Al Khaimah city, plus some hotels there, and the souk markets are there as well. And then on the right-hand side, you have the newest part of the destination, where the majority of the new hotels are, including Al Marjan Island. So Al Marjan Island is one of the most ambitious projects in the destination. It is the series of 4 connected man-made islands. You will find several hotels operating there already, like Rixos Bab Bar, Doubletree by Hilton, or Marjan Island Resort and Spa. And new hotels are going to be opening soon. Brands like Movenpick, Sheraton, or Marriott. There are thousands of room keys available, and 6,200 room keys are going to be added in the next 3 years, with more hotel brands being announced. This is a picture of Marjan Island Resort and Spa, a fantastic destination for both couples and families. We all lived in the era of COVID-19, and I'm really happy to say that the Emirates took significant steps straight away to offer a safe environment to guests. It was the first destination globally to receive a safeguard assurance label from Bureau Veritas, the first destination in the Middle East recognized by WTTC as a safe travels destination. And now, when it comes to PCR testing, it was the first global destination to provide free departure PCR testing. This is currently available until the 31st of March. We will see if it gets extended. It is for all international guests staying overnight in Ras Al Khaimah, and it is offered currently in 2 sites. When it comes to culture and heritage, it is really important to point out that Ras Al Khaimah is one of the very few places in the whole world been continuously inhabited for more than 7,000 years. So there is a lot to see, a lot to experience when it comes to that. A visit to the Mohammed bin Ali Mosque or the National Museum, which actually used to be the house of the ruling ruling family up until a few decades ago. I would say that you absolutely need to pay a visit to the Daya Fort, which is the highest hilltop standing fort in the UAE. Fantastic views to take in. And then both couples and families, especially families, enjoy a visit at the Suede Pearl Farm, which is one of the relatively newest additions in the destination. It's a great place to go and understand how the locals used to survive in the past on pearl collecting, because most people don't know that Ras Al Khaimah, for example, is the only emirate that doesn't have any oil. So the locals used to survive on really simple things back in the day, including pearl farming and collecting. Water sports, there is plenty to do there. In reality, most of the beachfront properties offer water sports centers. And then you also have the mangroves, which I think the best way to explore is through kayaking. And if you're lucky enough, you might see some nice flamingos there. Who knows? Of course, you are in the Middle East. You are obviously in the desert. So there are so many things to do there. I would say that especially for families, a visit to the nature reserve Al Wadi is a fantastic thing to do. You can practice your archery skills, you can enjoy falcon shows, or see the local animals like oryxes there. Camel riding, horse riding, or of course, the most popular thing to do, dune bashing. We have 3 desert camps available: the Basata Village Desert Camp, the Bedouin Oasis Desert Camp, and the newest addition is the Dunes Camping and Safari, and you can actually spend the night in all 3 of them. So again, this is an exciting activity for families. For golf enthusiasts, there are 2 golf courses there. the Alhambra Golf Club, which is a world-class course that was home to the finale of the European Challenge Tour in 2018, and the Tower Links Golf Club, which is known to be one of the most beautiful natural golf courses in the whole region. If there is one thing that truly makes Ras Al Khaimah stand out, it's the mountain activities. Jebel Jais is the highest peak in the UAE, 1,934 meters above sea level, and the temperature is actually 10 degrees less than it is when you are on the water's edge. What to do there? I mean, what is there not to do there? From simple things such as, mountain picnic with your family or friends, through trekking, hiking, climbing, or of course the Bear Grylls Explorers Camp, which is perfect for couples, fantastic for groups of friends traveling together, and also families. Yes, families can join because the team can actually tailor-make the program. Also, it's really important to remember that if you are into incentive travel, this is a great program for that. You might do all that, or you just enjoy a nice yoga session, enjoying the nice dramatic views there. The Viewing Deck Park offers fantastic views of the whole area. And one of the newest things in the destination is the 1484 by Puro restaurant. The feedback has been more than amazing. It needs to be pre-booked, fantastic food, and truly amazing views. So I would say that the combination of both makes this restaurant truly stand out. The J Sky Maze, you are 10 meters above the ground. You're going through different obstacles. It's a really nice thing to do. It doesn't look really safe, but in reality, it's extremely safe. This is why many families decide to do that as well. And in reality, the two most popular activities up in the mountain are the Jay's Sky Tour, which is a series of 7 zip lines, connected zip lines. So you go from platform to platform. The shortest one is 300 meters. The longest one is just over 1 kilometer, and it is up to 60 kilometers per hour to the speed. So you have different lengths and different views to enjoy. And of course, the world's longest zip line that was launched 3 years ago, 2.83 kilometers of length. There are so many people that go to Ras Al Khaimah just to do the Jebel Jais flight. You might go to the mountains, you might not go to the mountains. Still, plenty to do there. Like enjoying the Cornish areas, so especially during evening time, when the temperature is slightly, obviously lower, one of the most enjoyable things to do is to walk. Then I would say shopping is available as well. And please remember to tell your clients not to leave Ras Al Khaimah before visiting the souk markets, even if it is a very quick visit. The smells of the spices, the nice colors of the ingredients, the fish market, the vegetable market, the souvenir shops, I would say that it is absolutely worth paying a visit to the souk markets. I know this is not about nice, but if you have any groups, meetings, incentives, or weddings, please feel free to consider the destination. Different venues, different amenities, different experiences, and in reality, most of the hotels offer their nice facilities. You can register to become a Ras Al Khaimah Travel Master, or you can simply get more information through myself or the official website, visit rasalkhaimah.com, YouTube, which has amazing videos, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I try to be as quick as possible, and now I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you ever so much, Dimitris. That was superb. I've got some questions for you now, and I've got more coming in, which is good as well. So let's start with, well, what should we start with? Let's start with William Thompson, who's asked, in terms of the visitor sort of breakdown that you get for Ras Al Khaimah, where do the tourists sort of, approximately what sort of percentages in terms of where do they come from? Do they come from Europe? Do you get quite a number from the UK, or are the most from other Emirates? What sort of breakdown is it?
That's a very nice question, and I think it's really important to remember that one of the best things about Ras Al Khaimah is that it is close to pretty much some of all the key markets around when it comes to tourism. I don't really have any stats to share about 2020 because in reality, who wants to have a look at the 2020 stats? No one. So before that, I would say that the UK is definitely a top 5 market. It's a very strong market. This is why the team is investing a lot into, obviously events like this and communicating with the travel agents. I would also say that, for example, India is a rising market. The German market is really strong as well. And then you have, I mean, different tourists coming from, you know, obviously Asia. You have visitors coming from the Scandinavian countries, where it's slightly colder than it is in Ras Al Khaimah. So it's a variety, to be honest, but I'm really happy because you see that the requests that are coming in from the UK, always, obviously before COVID-19, used to be, you know, going from strength to strength. So 100%, you will be used to hearing English around you.
Okay, I think that's part of the answer that they wanted to hear as well. So that's good. Right. Okay, I've got one from Sandra Louise Lambert, who asks, what's the easiest and quickest and cheapest way to get back and forth to Dubai if you wanted to go there? I've got another question about asking if they can get to the Dubai Expo, if that's on as well. So can you combine the two?
You can. I would say that, for example, if you take a private a taxi, if you are at the airport and you take a taxi to go Ras Al Khaimah, for whatever reason you decided not to arrange the transfer of your guests through the hotel that they're going to be staying at, but they want to do it independently for whatever reason. The one way per car is approximately 30 to 35 pounds. So, I mean, compared to, I mean, UK standards, it's extremely cheap. And in reality, what we see a lot is so many people nowadays, or not nowadays, I mean, so many people, they started combining, I mean, you know, you will still, you know, have to come to terms with that. And so many people used to combine nowadays Ras Al Khaimah with Dubai because the experience that you get from both destinations is completely different. So
Right.
they would fly into Dubai. They would maybe spend a couple of nights there because no one says that you should not visit Dubai. Of course, you have to visit Dubai. And then for extra relaxation, they would go to Ras Al Khaimah. So that does happen a lot. It's so close and it's relatively very, very reasonably priced. So I would say this is the amount of money that you will spend for the airport. So it's slightly more when it comes to the actual Dubai center.
Okay, I've got another good one here, I think, from Suzanne Smith, who says, who's after you. I know this is not easy, but if you can give a rough idea, if you're not eating in a hotel, if you're eating out, what would you expect cost of living wise for, say, a restaurant meal for four, something like that?
I remember the last time that I was in Ras Al Khaimah, which is actually the last time that I traveled internationally, was in December 2019.
Okay.
We went to a fantastic restaurant. I mean, I cannot explain how good the food was.
Was it
We
Greek
went to,
food?
pardon?
Was it Greek food though?
Nothing compared to Greek food. But the Emirati cuisine was perfect. And I will find the name of the restaurant and I will share it with our lovely agents here, because it was like you were in a European restaurant. I mean, the design was out of this world, and the food, I still remember the nice fresh ingredients and the taste of the chicken, which actually smelled like chicken and tasted like chicken, like real chicken. And I will 100% find this. I was so shocked when I actually had a look on the menu, the price. It is nothing compared to London. It's much, much cheaper. So I would say that on average is about 30 to 35% less if you go to a very good, I mean, a restaurant of very good standards.
Okay, so effectively it's like eating in Newcastle then.
I've only been to Newcastle once, so I don't know.
I'm only joking as well. I'm not being. I don't want to. It's just that London's really expensive anyway. So anywhere else that's cheaper than that is a good thing.
Yes.
So what would you expect? Maybe sort of £20 a head, something like that. £20 a head, something like that.
No, my God, no, much cheaper, much cheaper.
£10 a head.
I would say 12 to 13.
Okay, fantastic. That gives us something to work on. Okay, I've only got time for a couple more questions. So, right, okay, who have we got? We have, yes, I think that's good. What are the, Philip McDonald asks, can you give us sort of a brief run through 3 or 4 of the main tour operators that offer Ras Al Khaimah?
I mean, it is. There are so many people that we work with, so I wouldn't really like to show any preference to.
Is it on your website?
It is not on the website, but what I can do when I share the presentation with the agents, which I assume I will be able to do, I will 100% put in alphabetical order some of the partners that we work with. plus the name of that restaurant. I think it would be, I don't think it would be right to, you know, just not mention some of the people that we work with. So I would prefer to prepare a whole list of the people that we work with instead of just naming a couple of them.
I'm going to fit two more very brief questions in. One of them is Catherine Husbith. No, it's not Catherine, actually. She's asked about going to the expo, but it is a couple of agents have asked here, David Dunn being one of them, and also I think Chrissy McKenzie as well. They both asked, what's the situation with dry hotels? Are all of the hotels dry? Are some of them dry in terms of alcohol?
No, I think that one of the things that has contributed a lot in the popularity of Khaimah is that the restrictions on alcohol use are, there is a lot of flexibility around it. And in reality, I would say the vast majority of the hotels do offer alcohol. There are just a couple of hotels who are dry hotels. So I think that this is a great option for those who want to enjoy alcohol, to have nice drinks, but also for those, because there are people like this in the UK anyway, who don't really want to be around alcohol. So I would say that 95% of the hotels, are not dry hotels. 5% of the hotels are dry hotels.
So basically just check when you're booking if they've got any queries about it. Okay, one more question. We'll do one last one very quickly.
Can I just say something as well, though?
Go on.
Even if a hotel is a dry hotel and it doesn't actually offer alcohol, you might still be able to buy alcohol from shops and enjoy it in your own room.
Okay, so that would be that's a sort of a personal thing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually, I think that just about wraps it up. I'm just going to ask one more question, which is asked by a few people, which is, again, keep it brief if you can, Dimitris. What is the best time of year, would you say?
Well, it does actually rely on where you're coming from. I'm Greek, so I can definitely tolerate some heat, but I don't think I'm a representative customer of Khaimah. I would say that it is between November to March. In reality, this is when the temperature is more is lower, because there is no lying about this. If you go in August, it will be like 40 degrees. If you can't, if you can tolerate with this heat, you can go in August, or July. But if you want something cooler, something more enjoyable, and if you are coming, from Newcastle, for example, and you are not so used to the heat, maybe you can go, let's say, this time or November time. The temperature is much, much more tolerable.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for today. I'm now going to ask you to, if you can, explain to us what's happening in terms of your prize and give us your competition question.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So we are giving away a 4-night complimentary stay for 2 people on bed and breakfast in a superior double room at the Marzen Island Resort and Spa. And the ridiculously easy question that I have to ask today is, how long does it take to go from Dubai International Airport to Ras Al Khaimah by car? This is possibly the easiest question today.
Okay, well, that's great. We like easy questions. Don't forget, everyone, keep your pens and papers at the ready. And then at the end of this, you're going to go back to our website and you can enter your competition answers there. But thank you very much to Dimitris. We'll join you again. Please join us again at the end, Dimitris. And thank you again for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. And good luck to everyone.
Thank you. Right. Okay. It's now time to meet our second presenter. Marlene is from the UK Press Office and UK representative for Aldemar Resorts. Marlene, how are you and how's life been with you?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not as lucky as Dimitris. I'm not in Athens, not enjoying a wonderful view across the Acropolis, but I can just about make out Rutland Water, and it's grey and miserable. Is that okay?
Well, it'll have to be okay because I can't change it for you. So unfortunately, you're stuck with a grey and miserable Rutland Water. Let's transfer ourselves over to the wonders of the Aldemar Resorts properties and take us there and show us what they have to offer. Marlene, over to you.
Okay, here we go. Right, can everybody see my full screen? I hope so. Right, Simon, can you see that full screen? Okay, I'm assuming so. All right, so Aldemar Resorts. My name is Marlene, as Simon said, and I'm a representative for Aldemar here in the UK. Aldemar Resorts have 6 deluxe and first-class hotels, and today we'll be looking at our beach resorts, all 3 of them. We're now a leading hotelier in the UK, and we have you to thank for that. Without your support, we wouldn't have got there, so thank you very, very much indeed. We work with all major tour operators, as well as the specialists who might be doing Greece as a destination, or perhaps specializing in wellness, holidays, and tennis breaks, and so on. We're an independent company, and we're very proud of our origins and our vision to strengthen Greece's position on the global tourist market. Our motto, which I think is coming to its own during these very challenging times, is celebrate life. And we continue to wish that we may all do that over and over again. As a result of what happened, however, last March, our very visionary Chief Executive Officer, Alexandros Angelopoulos, put into place our COVID-19 protocols, and this helped us open our resort hotels last year and welcome many of your guests safely. We started off with our staff training and staff hygiene, our PPE, putting screens in the right place. We went on to ensure we could offer digital check-ins, extended durations for check-ins and check-out, sanitizers in all the lobby and reception areas. Our in-room cleaning and linen changing facilities had to follow certain protocols, again, to ensure that our visitors felt they were having a home from home stay. The same was for our restaurants and bars in terms of where the sanitizing areas were put in and the social distancing we had to put in terms of the seating. We're surrounded by water, as you'd imagine. We're by the sea, and we have millions of swimming pools. So again, here there was very frequent water control, and there was a maximum number of swimmers allowed in all our different pools. Our public areas were all made safe. If there were any indoor areas, those were aired regularly, but as you can appreciate, most of the activities took part outdoors. Okay, we've got 2 very separate brands at Aldemar Resorts. One is our luxury resorts in Thalasso, the other is our beach resorts, and that's what we're going to be concentrating today as we're talking about family-friendly resorts. The beach resort logo is a colourful collection of circles and really encompasses everything that's fun and carefree about holiday to Greece. I'm sure that most of you today have been to Greece many times and are as much in love with it as the millions of holiday makers that used to go there regularly. We hope many more soon. So we are located in 2 very distinct places, in Crete, which is Greece's most southerly isle, and in Western Greece near ancient Olympia. I'm going to start in Crete. Our landing airport is Heraklion, and we are 25 minutes transferred to our resort hotels, which sit on a promontory called Anisaras, and that is just north of Chersonesos, which most of you have probably heard of. So we're going to start today with our first family-friendly hotel, the 5-star Aldemarknossus Royal, which is located on this huge tongue that sticks out into the sea. It is family friendly and offers a romantic side too, in that we have a 16th century chapel called St. George's, and by the foot of the chapel is a wonderful platform by the sea, which is exclusive and completely dedicated to wedding receptions. It's away from the hotel, so people can pretty much enjoy themselves without too many restrictions. Right, the accommodation at the Knossos Royal is a total of 373 rooms with a wide variety of family rooms and family suites and apartments. I'm going to just quickly go through here. Right, we've got 5 restaurants and 4 bars. This hotel is sold very much on bed and breakfast, half board, as well as all inclusive. So depending on what the clients choose, they can decide where they're going to eat and what they're going to enjoy most. But because we're big on food, they will certainly not be disappointed. We also offer a dine around for those that prefer enjoying a la carte restaurants more than they do the run of the mill. Our facilities for children are there, from the mini clubs, the teen clubs, as well as offering activities on and off the water. We've got supervised staff on all the clubs available and the activities that we offer. Very near the hotel as well, for people who like to venture out, we've got an 18-hole golf course, which is only 7 kilometers away. There's an aqua park, which is 10 kilometers away, and there's a horse riding school, which is 22 kilometers away. Okay, we're going to move on to the 4-star all-inclusive Aldemarknossus village, which is just along the way from the Knossos Royal, still in the same resort. And here instead, we've got a completely different product, as it's completely all-inclusive. There's a more cuboid architecture to the 2-story buildings. They're all widespread out through vast gardens. And the rooms have all been upgraded and refurbished. And we've got family rooms, which are garden view rooms or pool view rooms. There's apartments, and they will accommodate up to 2 adults and 2 children. Some of them will take 3 children, and you can find out more details on those online. There are 4 restaurants here and 4 bars, and we offer things like show cooking and theme nights, as you would expect us to, as well as children's menus. The facilities are plentiful here too. As I said before, there's a very, very strong animation team, which keeps everybody happy from morning till evening. We're going to then I've forgotten to mention the 75-meter water slide at this resort hotel. There's also a 45-meter water slide at the previous hotel. I knew I'd forget something. Right, from here, we're going to fly across to the mainland of Greece. The Peloponnese is like a massive hand that stretches out into the sea, and the landing port here is Kalamata Airport. From Kalamata Airport, it is an hour and 30 minutes to Olympia in Western Greece. Points of interest here are many, because it is a natural area of outstanding beauty. In fact, so much so that the ancients originally started the Olympic Games here, and the torch is still lit from this very wonderful spot. But apart from what the ancients left in this part of the world, in mainland Greece, there are lots of wonderful beaches, very important for families, lots of castles, monasteries, and plenty to see and do throughout the area. We're going to start with the 5-star Aldemar Olympian village, which is very family friendly. It sits on a 2-kilometer stretch of very sandy beach. And when you stand on that beach on a clear day, you can see Zante on your right-hand side and Kefalonia on your right. Now, Simon has been here with his family, so he'd probably be better actually taking this presentation than I will be. But perhaps at the end, he'll tell us what he thought of it. So apart from building sandcastles and that wonderful sandy beach, there are activities. The activities are on the water, as you'd expect them to be, as well as off the water. There are anything from the adrenaline sports that you'd expect to find, such as kite surfing, to sailing, as well as the softer options of a pedalo. We also have our own horse riding here and ponies for little people. Biking is also very popular. Fitness center, 5-a-side footy, and lots more. Like what I showed you in Crete at the Aldemarknossus, the Aldemar Olympian village also is great for events, and that includes weddings. On our website, we have packages, which you're more than welcome to go and have a look at. So from feet in the sand, basic civil weddings, to a silver option and more. We'll go on to the accommodation, which again has been refurbished and upgraded over the years. Aldemar always, every winter season, spend on improving all of the facilities, and this is an ongoing process that continues all the time. Amongst the family accommodation that we offer here, we have bungalows as well as apartments of different sizes, and the rooms can accommodate again 2 adults and 2 children. as well as some will take more. We also created these premium buildings where we added premium family rooms that are slightly larger. And again, there are different sizes that you can have a look at online at your leisure and familiarize yourselves with. There are a lot of restaurants and a lot of bars, from Italian to beach to gourmet. I know my son fell in love with the pizzas that were cooked on this particular resort hotel. He thought they were simply the best. Amongst all the activities, as we said before, there are mini clubs for children. There's a Playmobil, there's a 93-meter water slide with its own pool. In fact, it has 38 pools. But what happens with Aldemar is that we have clusters of villa-like accommodation, and that will have a big pool. And that's why there are so many swimming pools throughout the resorts. But of course, in this particular resort, you've got this phenomenal 2-kilometer stretch of beach, which is just to live for. So apart from being an award family destination and having all these facilities, it is an area that is interesting because it's different. It's not so well known amongst the British market. It is coming into its own. For years, the Greeks had it for themselves, especially people like Dimitris and his family living in Athens. They'd get in their cars and then whiz off down a motorway to get to it. But now it's opened up to the UK market. It's certainly starting to become popular, and I think will increase more and more as the years go by. I explained at the very beginning how much we love our food. Well, we really do. And we promote the idea of eco-friendly cuisine. So we like to say, eat fresh, eat local, and eat seasonal. This prompted our very creative and inspirational CEO over 10 years ago to launch something called Symposio Greek Gourmet Touring. This basically consisted of our chefs during the winter months when the resorts were closed, coming to various destinations throughout Europe to teach travel agents how to cook. And we basically hired cooking schools from Edinburgh to Manchester to Cambridge to London, and invited you, the travel agent, to come along in the evening and learn to cook Greek. We hope to get these up and running very soon again. We're very big on the environment, and our energy recovery is important to us, and we've invested in that, as well as lots of recycling, and we do grow our own vines and make our own wine. We have staff who give blood at blood banks, and we take lots of interest in volunteering for programs in local communities. This is just a short video. I'm just going to play it now. I hope it is going to play. Yep.
I'm sorry, but it's not working.
Oh, okay. It's not working. I'm going to stop it. Can you not hear it?
Okay, don't worry. Have you got anything else you wanted to say, or are you ready to go in?
No, I'm ready to say thank you.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting you. I just thought it was, we were getting messages from the agent saying it wasn't working, and I was hear the music, but I couldn't see the video. So we can always send that on. You can send that on to the agents after.
No problem. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. Right, I've got loads of questions.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to start at the other end. So we're going to fire through these as quickly as we can do. So without further ado, okay, Sarah Doherty asks, in terms of the weddings, is there a wedding planner on site at the hotels?
Yes, we do have people that will help out.
Okay, fine. Right, next one. I've also got Laura Kitson, who asks on the same subject, how many weddings a day do you tend to limit it to?
One.
Oh, so it's one per day. Okay, good. That
Don't like the idea of brides meeting up. I mean, I think that's absolutely dreadful.
I don't know. I think more the merrier for the party, I think.
Sorry, no.
Cheryl Johnson asks, age of the kids for the kids clubs.
Okay, so the ordinary midi club is 4 to 12. Teens club is 13 to 16. We do also on our website, I really would encourage agents to go on there. We have a dedicated sheet which is on all the baby supplies we offer for babies and toddlers. So that might be quite useful, including childcare for that age group and babysitting, that kind of thing.
Okay, excellent. So William Thompson asks, does the all-inclusive program encompass all bars, restaurants and drinks, or
Yes.
are there supplements?
No, there isn't. We have always been very clear about this, and if you go online, you can actually download the list of what we offer. At the Aldemar Olympian, the last hotel that I did, sorry, I should have mentioned, there's actually, the PDF is 4 pages. That's why I didn't go through it, because I would have been here all day. But it literally lists everything at every single restaurant and bar available, all the programs, all the sports activities, all the hours that it's available to. And normally the all-inclusive runs till midnight.
Would you recommend, in terms of the sports facilities, can you sort of pre-book those before you leave or anything like that?
No, I don't think we do that, except for the tennis, because that is run by a separate company, but obviously it's franchised to us. And really, to be honest, I don't think anybody's ever not been able to get to whatever they want to do. Although, you know, it sounded like we have lots of rooms and it would be like masses of people, because the resort facilities accommodate that amount of people. There is always something for everybody.
Okay, I've got a couple of requests which we'll make sure that you can do. We'll forward these on to you in terms of people who want a copy of the video.
No
they obviously like the music that much, so we'll get that across
Sorry
to you, and you
about
can.
That.
No, we can do that. I'm going to ask you 2 more, and then we've got to move on. So yeah. Here we go. What should we have? Yes, Catherine Hudspeth asks, in terms of getting from Heraklion to the hotels in Crete, how much would a private transfer be?
Oh gosh, it's about, I think it's 20 euros, something like that.
Okay, so it's achievable. It's not that far.
And we can pre-book that as a hotel as well.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to do one more for you. Yes, Angela Tad asked, I think it's a good one because it helps get a picture of it. In terms of all of the hotels, what are the beaches? Are they all sand, or are any of them any different from that?
Good question. The ones in the Olympia, because you were there, Simon, you can.
I can testify they're wonderful.
They're very, very, very sandy and absolutely massive. The ones on Crete, it's more kind of, I would call it a sort of shingly beachy. It's a mixture between shingle and beach. So work it out. But yes, it's still, you can still walk on it without needing special shoes, if that makes sense.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you so much, Marlene. I think that went remarkably well. We've got loads of information across about the properties, but also about the fact that I think everyone wants to go back to Greece. People have been missing Greece, so that's really good.
I think what's important is that the news was full of about, you know, things starting up for travel just last week, and it was the Greek Minister of Tourism who spoke about all the things that Greece are putting in place to ensure that people feel that they can travel again, which I think is wonderful.
It is, and we look forward to it. So now, please, to round off, if you can let us know about your competition prize and the question you're going to ask.
Yes. So the competition prize is a 4-night all-inclusive stay on a complimentary basis at the Aldemarknossus Royal in Crete, and it is for 2 adults and 2 children in a family room, of course. And the question is very simple. It's how many of Aldemar Resorts hotels feature a mini club?
Okay, just to remind you on that, you have to go to, at the end of the webinar, we'll be doing that on our website at travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition. And the question for the Aldemar prize is, how many of Aldemar's resort hotels feature a mini club for kids aged 4 to 12? That's right, isn't it? Fantastic. Thank you again to Marlene, and we'll see you at the end of today's webinar to say goodbye to everyone. But thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'd like to, I'm now going to welcome our 3rd presenter. Karen's already there. She's ready and waiting. She's keen as mustard to get started. Are you well, Karen?
I'm well, thank you, Simon. Just happy to be back and to be here this afternoon with everyone. Really great to be here.
Well, we're really pleased to have you. I'm delighted that it's made you have to come back from the Seychelles as well to
Yes,
give this
indeed. I came back especially for you, Simon. To tell you all about the Seychelles.
I
London.
would be thoroughly sick if you were presenting from the Seychelles, I have to say.
I know.
Without further ado, please share your screen and walk us away.
Oh, super. So good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Karen. I'm from the Seychelles Tourism Board. Maybe I've seen some of you before at our previous presentations, but happy to be here today to tell you all about my little island. So I will share my screen. So hopefully everybody can see it. So I will start. So the Seychelles, we're just located north of Madagascar, on the east coast of Africa. So about 4 to 10 degrees south of the equator. So we are a group of islands, an archipelago. So altogether, there are 115 islands altogether. So many tiny, tiny islands in a very big, wide area of ocean. And as you can see here, there's different island groups. And the inner islands, this is where all the action is happening, where all the visitors would go, and where most of the population lives as well. We do have 2 types of islands, the Granitic Islands that you see here. These are the islands with the mountains, forests, and nature reserve, and the typical granite boulders of the Seychelles. But we also have the flat coral atolls. Both islands are unique and different, and we always encourage to visit both of them because you get different experience as well. So this is the inner island group where I mentioned where everybody would visit. So you have the main islands of Mahé, Praia, and Lagoon. Going to the Seychelles, the first thing I always encourage is that please do island hopping. Please offer your clients island hopping. Ideally, the islands are so close together. The maximum travel time between the islands is 1 hour by boat. Even with families and kids, it's so easy. You've got the domestic flights and the boats and the helicopters to transfer you between the islands. And most importantly, each island is unique and different. So you really miss out if you only stay in one place. So island hopping is the best. Flight, so very easily, and you don't have to arrange anything. Everything is there, and you can just have to book. The main island is Mahé, so this is where you have the international airport and the capital, Victoria. Sorry, that was a little bit too fast. So Victoria is known to be one of the smallest capitals in the world. So you can walk around in half an hour and discover the whole little town. And as I mentioned, all the international flights land here as well. So Victoria is a must as well. You have to include it on the itinerary. This is where we have our little tropical market where you can buy souvenirs and spices. You can meet the museums and art galleries and churches. So a lot to see. So a half day on Victoria, I think, is very important as well. And you can also meet and chat with the locals. Outside of Victoria, you've got some great attractions and places to visit. For example, the tropical plantation house that you see at the top. So that is our distillery. It is where we make the local rum, the Takamaka rum, and you have a chance to win that today. So it is a typical Seychelles rum made from the sugarcane, and you can go there, see how they make the rum, and also do some rum tasting. There's about between 10 to 12 different types of rum. So it's a beautiful plantation house, and it should also be on the list. Then we have botanical gardens, spice gardens, and a lot to see while you are on the island. And just on Mahé, you have 65 little beaches along the coast. So in Seychelles, you are really spoiled for choice. Again, long deserted beaches where most of the time you're going to be on your own and have practically your own little beach. And since we're doing social distancing, you don't have to do that because you have your own little beach. The island is surrounded by marine parks, and these are the best snorkeling spots of Mahé. So for example, alone or with a guided tour, you can go easily from the beach, no need for a boat, and you can really go and discover the underwater world. We have beautiful nature trails going up into the mountains. I think this is a scenery people don't realize when they think of Seychelles. You can go swimming in the waterfalls. Just on Mahé, you have 12 different trails. So you can really go explore the forests and nature reserves. So a lot of people think we're only beaches, but we do have so much more. From Mahé, then you go down to Praia, which is the second largest island. Again, very easy, 1 hour fast ferry boat. 15 minutes domestic flight, you and the whole family, you pop on there and you are on Praia. Praslin is special because it is the home of one of our UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Valletta. It's this beautiful tropical rainforest that you see here, and home to our very famous coco de mer. So the coco de mer, the nut that you see with the little boy there, and it is the world's heaviest and largest nut, and it grows on average of 30 to 35 kilos. And this is the female, and the long one is the male. And from the shape, you can already see, this is why they call it the original Garden of Eden. They say that the Valletta was the original Garden of Eden. So it's also the home to the black parrot, and it's an endemic bird only found here in the Seychelles. So again, Valletta should be definitely on the list. The island has beautiful beaches, Côte d'Or, but what is great about Praslin is you have little satellite islands you can go for the day, and these are great for day excursions. So Anse-Lazio is one of the most famous beach on the island, but again, you know, it's deserted, uncrowded. Most of the time, you will see less than 20 people on the beach. Cousin is a bird nature reserve for bird lovers. Arid as well, another bird sanctuary. Curious is the home of our giant land tortoises. So in Seychelles, you will find them everywhere, Mahe, Praslin, Ladig. But here, it is their home. You go there and you visit them for the day, and they roam freely on the island. Then from Praslin, you go down to Ladig. Again, it's only 15 minutes by boat, and there's many boats during the day. If you're staying on Praslin overnight, then it is ideal as a day trip, but I would always recommend to stay overnight. It's a very tiny island, and the main mode of transportation on there is bicycles. So locals and visitors, the only way to get around is bicycles. What is special about the island, it's very traditional, it's very authentic, it feels like you're going back in time. So it's a different pace of life, and it should definitely be a must when you're doing a Seychelles trip. So the island, like I said, very authentic, and you can move around on bicycles very easily and just visit and just enjoy the local life. Coco Island is one of the beaches one of the islands close to Ladig, and you can go there for just as an excursion, but it's a beautiful little island and with the typical granite boulders. Another must on the island is Anse d'Argent, which is known to be the most photographed and most famous beach in the Seychelles. So again, this is a must with its granitic boulders. You have others like Petit Anse, which is just as stunning, and Anse Coco as well, but so many to choose from. The other Granitic Islands are mainly one island, one resort concept. You have the famous ones like Fregat North and the Hilton and Silhouette. But again, this is excellent to combine with Mahe and Praslin or Ladig, and you get your own little island kind of feeling. Silhouette, like I mentioned, is one of the island resorts. It's beautiful, it's actually bigger than Ladig, and there is a Hilton property there. So it's perfect for even more and more. We have seen so many families on this island because you have the whole island for yourself, and you can just explore, and the kids can just go crazy and wild. North of Mahe, you have two of the small coral atolls, which is Bird and Dennis. Very accessible, 30 to 40 minutes flight. As you can see, it's surrounded by coral reef. It's perfect for snorkeling, for diving, and for fishing. And the island is completely self-sufficient. We have a very famous guest on Bird Island, and his name is Esmeralda. You can see here with the little boy, his name is Tom. So Esmeralda is actually one of the oldest giant tortoises in the world, and he's nearly 200 years old. So he lives on Bird. And if you ever go to Bird, you can meet Esmeralda. The outer islands are quite far away, I would say, with two of them having a resort, which is De Roche and Alphonse. About 40 to 50 minutes, 1 hour flight. So you can combine them as well. Out there, it's mainly a Robinson Crusoe experience, as we call it, very much fishing, diving, exploring, and a lot of people go there for fly fishing as well. We have some world-class fly fishing out there. So that was about the islands in general. So Seychelles, we do have a very small population of about 98,000 people, mixed race of people from Asia, Africa, and Europe that created that mixed blend of cultures. Everybody speaks 3 languages, English, French, and the local language, which is Creole. As you can imagine from the mixed dance, the typical music is the sega and the mucha that you dance around the fire on the beach, so it's very fun. And all of these have been, introduced to the Seychelles from Africa and Europe as well. The cuisine as well, very, very spicy, very tasty. You have the typical dishes like the chicken coconut curry, the octopus curry, and we love local fresh food as well. So a lot to choose from. Great for kids as well. It doesn't have to be just spicy. When to go to the Seychelles? Very easy, all year round. So an all year round destination, temperature ranging from 26 to 32 degrees. So you've got this beautiful weather, and we are outside the cyclone belt as well. If you are choosing some of the best months in March, April, May, September, October, November, the best of the best. December to February, it is the period of the year where we do get a bit more tropical rain showers. But again, it's a couple of hours each day and not all the time. So ideally, all year round is perfect. And you can just, do all the activities. In terms of accommodation, we have a bit of everything. Contrary to what people think, it is not only high-end, very expensive. This is, for example, one of my favorites, the Four Seasons, because of its location and this beautiful little beach. But the good thing to know is we have a bit of everything, ranging from your little guest house, self-catering, little bungalows, 3, 4, 5-star property. And again, for families, it's perfect. You've got these little bungalows that can take family of 4 or 5. You've got apartments for bigger families. And of course, you've got the resorts where you've got the key clubs and everything. So it is ideal and perfect for families. So whatever your budget, you can find something on the islands. In terms of the nature, very important for us, we do have about 1,000 endemic species of flora and fauna in the Seychelles. So again, contrary to what people think, there is so much to see in terms of the environment. So ranging from your little green geckos, your frogs, your sea turtles, flowers and birds. So there's a lot to see when you're on the island. We have another UNESCO site, which is Aldabra. And Aldabra is one of the islands that is the furthest away from Mahe, very isolated, very few people have been there, and it has many tortoises, 150,000 tortoises, so more tortoises in Seychelles than people actually. What can you do when you get there? Again, it's very active. You're not going to be bored and just lying on the beach all day. The walks and trails you can do on Mahe, Pralan, Ladig, and Silhouette. Some are very easy, 30 minutes. Some are more intense, about 2 to 3 hours. But this is how you would really get to see the flora and fauna. Sailing and cruising very easily around the islands, or even better, 5-night, 6-night cruises. And you can easily see 8 to 10 islands in one trip, and so many activities to do while you're on this great cruising trip. Fishing is very popular, big game fishing, deep sea fishing, and the fly fishing that I mentioned out on the coral atolls. Snorkeling very easily from the beach. The water temperature is about 28 to 30 degrees, no pollution, excellent visibility. So for both snorkeling and diving, I would say March, April, and then September, October, November is the best period of the year. And in terms of diving, for the expert divers, the outer islands, I would say, is the best. You've got cave divings, you've got grottos, and a lot to discover for the underwater world. We have an 18-hole golf course on Pralan. So it's the only 18 holes, but for golf lovers, you do get a chance to try out some golf overlooking the Indian Ocean. Wellness and spa, of course, you go to the Seychelles, you need some relaxation. And again, what Seychelles has always been known for, the islands of love, very romantic. A lot of people come down to the Seychelles for weddings and honeymoon, and it is a legal wedding, so it is recognized internationally once you get your certificate. And of course, you can do both the civil and the religious wedding. And the best thing is you are spoiled for choice in terms of locations, from the forest to the beaches, stunning backdrops for these memorable photos. And of course, the honeymoon as well. Just some basic essentials. Seychelles, the time difference is quite short, 3 hours in the summer and 4 in the winter. So you don't get that big jet lag. No visas needed, no vaccination. There's no tropical diseases, no yellow fever or malaria. To drive around, you can rent a car and drive around in Mahe and Pralan. On Ladig, it's bicycles. You rent a bike and you pop around and easily on your own. And you have the public bus and the taxis as well. Just to wrap up some unique points of why the Seychelles, I would say it is still very exclusive. No mass tourism, no overdevelopment. You go there, you have your own little private beach. So there is not that overpopulation as well and over mass tourism. The beaches, the flora and fauna, and the amazing tropical climate all year round. And it's still very untouched and very uncommercialized. The people are very friendly. They make you feel at home. You become like one of the locals. And you know, they, especially when you're staying in one of the small properties and guest houses and B&Bs. Amazing nature, but nothing poisonous or dangerous. So you can go out and see the little spiders and insects, but nothing poisonous. Seychelles is also still very safe destination, very stable. You can go around on your own, relatively low crime rate as well, which is excellent for exploring with families and you know, with groups of friends or for couples as well. Lastly, I would say very good news. Seychelles is opened up now for all vaccinated visitors. So from your UK, any visitors that are vaccinated can come to the Seychelles. And by mid to late March, we will open up for all visitors around the world, vaccinated or not, as we are also vaccinating the population. So 70% of the population will be vaccinated by end of March, and we aim to be one of the first countries in the world to do so. So lastly, I would say with the theme for today, it is very much a family-friendly destination. It is so safe for kids. There's so much for them to explore, multi-generational families, small families, big families, so much for them to see, so much for them to explore. And like I said, very safe, the beaches, the nature, everywhere is quite safe for them. And all the hotels have all the kids facilities as well. We have our online training, so you can always go on there and try it out and become a Seychelles expert as well. So that was it from me. Thank you so much for your attention. And I will hand over back to Simon.
Well, don't hand over completely. I want you still involved because we've got some questions for you. We're going to have to run through them quite quickly because this is my fault, I think, a little bit as well. I've been giving people too many questions, so we're running a bit behind. So
okay,
I'll go through as quickly as I can. Right, okay, we'll start with Pam Hart, who asks the best islands for fly fishing.
Fly fishing, oh yes, Alphonse, #1, the top, first class, and the Rush.
Okay, that was quick, awesome. Yeah. Laura Kitson asks, in terms, she's got a client who has a bit of a budget issue, shall we say, and they want to know, and she wants to know any tour operators that you can recommend that would offer some 3-star properties.
Some 3-star, okay. This I will get back to you because I need to think about it. We do have more or less the bigger ones that's offering a wide range, but I will get her email from the chat and I will send it to her.
Okay, fantastic. We'll do that with everyone as well, by the way.
Yes, definitely. Whoever needs. Yes.
Okay. Again, another question on the same sort of scenario is, there used to be, but maybe there aren't any all-inclusives anymore. It's just that some clients ask for them.
No, Seychelles, we've never really had any all-inclusive, and we still don't have. The only ones we would have will be the ultra high-end, like North Island and Maya, but they offer like anything you want for this crazy price, obviously, anything, anywhere, anyhow, but that is a different level. It's not what we would call really all-inclusive, like you will find in other destinations.
Okay, I've got Kerry.
The North Island, we're talking about 5,000 a night kind of concept, so that's different.
Okay, no, that's fine. Kerry Darlington asks, how much to eat out, roughly speaking?
Yeah, roughly speaking, eat out in the local restaurants is reasonably cheap. I would say, let's say we're going for a Creole buffet in a restaurant would be about, 250 rupees, 300 rupees. So divide that by 28. I would say about between 10 to 15 pounds, let's say, for a Creole buffet.
Okay, so the cost is actually very reasonable once you're
very
out
reasonable.
and about.
The only place in the Seychelles where you will find the elevated cost would be in the resorts themselves. But outside, even if for the kids, the pizzas and burgers and normal little Creole food, it is very reasonably priced.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
This is one that's come up a couple of times, so I think it's probably easiest if you do this, yes, and you try and keep it as short as you can. Give us your preference in terms of how you would arrive and do 10 days in the Seychelles.
Okay, cool. What I would do as soon as you land, I would go straight to Praslin, the second largest island. So you get all your traveling done in one day. I would do a couple of nights on Praslin. Ideally, I would do all 3 islands. So a couple of, let's say 4 on Praslin. If you don't want to move, then you would do only 1 day on Lagoon because it's closest to Praslin. If you want to move, I would say 2 nights on Lagoon. So 4 nights Prale, 2 nights Ladig, then you come back and you finish with the 4 nights on Mahe. So I think that is the most ideal itinerary, and you get to see all 3 and stay overnight on all 3 islands.
Okay, last question I got from Jacqueline Brady, who asks the cost of traveling into Ireland by boat, and can you book and pay for it before you go?
Yes, you do. For example, the Cat Coco, which is the inter-island boat, has a website. You go online, you can pre-book your ticket, and it is about €55 one way. So that's about 40-something pounds. And you book everything in advance. You get your little electronic ticket, so that is not a problem. And same for the domestic flight. You go on the Air Seychelles and you book your domestic flight, which is about £60, I would say, one way.
Awesome. We're going to have lots of people we've had asking for your presentation.
Definitely.
Obviously, they want to pass it on to their clients, which is very good news. So thank you again. It's wonderful to see you, as always, and we'll see you again at the end. Thank you to Karen.
Yes. So you want me to tell the price?
Oh yes, of course. I'm getting ahead of myself because I was getting told off
No
for being
worries.
so late.
No worries. So the
no, don't you say sorry. I'm glad you reminded me. Right, Karen, please tell us your wonderful prize and also what your competition question is.
So the prize today, we will have, like I mentioned earlier, we will have a little Seychelles goodie bag with one of the Seychelles Takamaka rum. So I think it's the caramelized one, the sugary one. And the question is, can you name the most famous, most photographed beach on Ladig Island?
Okay, that's wonderful. So for your Seychelles goodie bag, the question is, name the most famous, the most photographed beach with the granite boulders on Ladig. So please thank you again, Karen, for your wonderful presentation. Please don't forget, guys, to go to the Travel Bulletin .co.uk/webinar competition at the end of the webinar. Thank you. We'll see you again at the end, Karen. Thank you.
See you later.
Okay, now it's time to meet our final, and last but by no means least, our final presenter for today, which is Peter Green from the Malta Tourism Authority. Hello, Peter.
How are you doing, Simon? You all right there?
I'm good, thank you very much. I do like a man wearing headphones. It shows that you're concentrating on what's going on, whereas I get distracted by everything around me.
I have to admit, it's purely the fact that I've got a train line next to me. So if I don't have the headphones on, you'll have trains going past. And I think my partner's downstairs playing music as well. So I don't think you need that in the background either.
It's good to see that you're so well respected where you are, that everyone keeps quiet around you. Peter, please share with us your wonderful feelings and thoughts on the amazing islands of Malta.
Yeah, absolutely will do. So thank you everyone for joining. I appreciate that. Obviously just now is quite busy for you guys with customer amendments, customer queries, but again, thank you for your time for joining. My name is Peter. I'm the trade trainer for the Malta Tourism Authority, and I'm going to talk to you today obviously about family holidays for the lovely islands of Malta. I wish we were all kind of on this boat at this current moment, but hopefully it will be soon, and all the best for later on today. So just a little bit of background about the islands of Malta. So yeah, Malta is obviously a beautiful destination, and it really does have something to do for all ages, as we'll see, from the young to the old, from your flop and drop customers to the active adventure seekers. So just a little bit of a quick intro onto the islands of Malta, or the Republic of Malta, as it's officially known. It's made up of 3 islands. We've got Malta, the smaller island of Gozo next to it, and the tiny little island of Khaimah with its 2 inhabitants that stay there. It's got over 7,000 years of history, with a strong British connection, especially in its modern era, as it was an ex-colony of Britain. It's also not too far a flight from the UK. It's about 3 hours from the mainland, and about 3.5, just over 3.5 from Ireland. Also, if you fly over, you can go visit the European City of Culture 2018, Valletta, the capital, and it's also the #1 destination for inclusivity on the Rainbow Index, and that's for LGBTI communities there. A little fun fact: they drive on the left-hand side, just like they do in the Britain, so you don't have to worry about the wee ones, you know, not knowing where to look on the roads. And the official language is English on the island, and as you can see by the presentation, it's still home to red telephone boxes and post boxes from its days. So if we can go on to the next slide, please. So just a little bit about the resorts on the island. As you can see here, there is a many number of resorts, each with their own identity and their own offerings for the families that you have there, but we'll just run through a couple of the main ones. So we'll start with the capital, Valletta. It is officially the sunniest city in Europe with over 300 days of sunshine per year. This is even during the winter months when we range down to sort of, you know, 8 to 9 hours of sunshine all the way through to the longer hours of the summer months. This little city boasts over 320 attractions in just an area that's 0.6 square kilometers, so or about 1/10 the size of Gibraltar. So there's so much to do in such a little space and little area. You can cruise the Grand Harbour and marvel at the Three Cities, which is the area over the other side of the harbour from Valletta. You've got panoramic cityscapes from the Upper Baraka Gardens, or you can even just stroll through Valletta itself with its street side cafes and its Baroque architecture. And from Malta Airport, the transfer to Valletta is only about 15 to 20 minutes. You can even get there in less time if you take a taxi. We also have the area of Khaimah and St. Julian's, which is probably the liveliest districts of the island. These are the busiest of the areas. So we've got an abundance of cafes, bars and restaurants for families to enjoy. You've got seafront promenade, you've got man-made beaches, especially at Bulletin Bay. You can learn to dive at many of the dive centres around here, or even catch your excursion boat. From here to other parts of the island. There's a ferry to Valletta that only costs about €1.50 to get over there. And that transfer from the airport is only about 35 minutes. Again, even shorter by taxi transfer. And it's about €20 for a taxi transfer one way. So, you know, absolutely no time for your families if they've had a hectic time through the airport and obviously on the flight as well, especially for the ones that have got the wee ones. We move a little bit further north up the island and we've got the area of Bujaba and Aura. So these are probably the main family-friendly ones, more so for the fact that especially if you've got kids or families with younger kids and they've got strollers, there's a nice, beautiful, flat seafront promenade that stretches all the way around the little inlet there. It really is a bustling little resort with some fantastic all-inclusive and self-catering accommodation, you know, perfect for the needs of the modern family. It's also got many shops, you know, for the ones that want to pick up the souvenirs. You've got your restaurants, cafes, and I know this for a fact, there's even a McDonald's there. So, you know, if one of the wee ones isn't having a good day, you can pick up a little a Happy Meal, or maybe even a McFlurry for the one of the hotter days. You can visit the aquarium here, and, you know, in the aquarium, you can visit multiple zones, exploring Malta's kind of subsea history and the abundance of life that's found below the waves. Your transfer up to Bujaba is about 40 minutes. Again by direct transfer, you're talking 25 to 30 minutes. If we move a little bit further up the coastline again, we come to Melia and the north of the island. Now Melia is a lot quieter, it's a lot smaller and a little bit more laid back than some of the other resorts of the island. But here you're going to find the beautiful beaches that are perfect for the lounge day for the families. If they just want a day to relax, you know, have the little ones splash and frolic in the sea. And certainly one of the best things is that these beaches up here, they have a shallow entry point so that, you know, the kids can frolic in and mum and dad don't have to worry about them dropping in too deep. So that is a really really unique KSP for those family markets. You've also got sort of like the sleepy towns in there as well. So it's a really good area to witness the unique way of life within Malta. And then we've also got Gozo as well. Now Gozo itself is an island just to the north of the island of Malta, 25 minutes by ferry, but you also obviously have your transfer up to the ferry port as well. And it's perfect for those that want a slower pace of life. You know, lush greenland, stunning beaches, and you can also visit the megalithic temples that are there that again date back about 7,000 years. And we've got a range of accommodation across all these resorts, from 2-star to 5-star to boutique, you know, hotels to villas to farmhouses, literally something for everyone. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So yeah, as I say, I've mentioned a few of the beaches, and see these are some of the top ones. So Melia Bay up in the north is home to the largest blue flag beach of the island. So obviously it's got that accreditation in there. Gentle slope into the waters with plenty of shallows, beachside cafes. We've also got the Blue Lagoon, which is crystalline azure blue waters. It is absolutely stunning. It can get a little bit busy in the summer months, but one of the biggest things I would say is get one of the first boats out there and you'll really enjoy you know, a peaceful time out there with no one around you. It really really is beautiful for, especially for snorkeling and paddling in. And we've also got lovely golden and neighboring Gan Tufia Bay, which is a beautiful, pristine sands. They're really wide, really deep beaches. So there's plenty of area for the kids to play in the sand as well if they want. Yeah, next slide. So some of the activities to see and do, I'm not going to go through every single one of these here, but you can see for yourself that this is just some of the activities, and there is plenty to do. But one of the biggest ones that I will mention in some of the highlights here is certainly scuba diving. Malta is consistently voted the #1 dive site in Europe and the #2 dive site worldwide. It's got excellent visibility, really warm waters, and it's just perfect for the families if they want to try and get the kids into it. One of the better things about it as well is for doing your PADI course, which is an accreditation course. Usually it starts at 12 years old, and in Malta it starts at 10 years old, so even the younger ones can get into it. And I'm speaking from experience because I did my PADI course in Malta when I was younger, and it's one of the first places I learned to dive. And after diving elsewhere, I would still go back to Malta every single time. One of the other ones is the Rolling Geeks tour. It's a self-drive tour around the 3 cities found opposite Valletta. It's a really, really unique way to see traditional kind of Maltese culture. It's got full audio tour included in the little mini golf carts that you kind of drive around in. And it's full of really fun facts and really unique historical information. We've got film and TV tours. So sometimes Malta gets called the Mediterranean's mini Hollywood. It's been the backdrop, Malta, for some amazing films and some great TV shows such as Gladiator, Troy, Munich, and for those that are fans of Game of Thrones, apologies to the Stark family, but yes, it's been filmed there as well in the old capital of Medina. Also, some of the more experienced ones of us on here will remember Robin Williams' 1980 film Popeye. The actual set of it, Popeye Village, has now been turned into a miniature theme park on the island, which is on the west coast there. So you can walk around the original set, you can meet characters, they have themed events at Easter, at Halloween, and an inflatable obstacle course even over the water. So it's a great day out for all the family, really is. Yeah, next slide, please. So just going to touch on some of the events that go on throughout the year. Malta is a year-round destination. Even in the winter months, we also see temperatures, anywhere from the early teens up to the late teens. I've personally been in the winter, and it's still glorious sunshine during the day, and you just wrap up with a little jumper in the evening, and it's absolutely beautiful. So it's got an action-packed calendar that runs all year round, literally from spring to winter, from jazz festivals to music festivals, religion, absolutely everything all year round. Next slide, if you would. So just to touch on some of the year-round events here, and maybe some of the key celebrations that families might want to go to. Easter is a big celebration just due to the fact that Malta is a religious country. It's a week-long celebration that includes street processions that are all glittered with gold. They've got statues that get carried down the streets, brass bands, costume casts, and delightful delicacies, which include the traditional figola. This is a traditional almond pastry, usually shaped into the shape of kind of like a rabbit or a fish or a heart, and kind of dusted on top, and it's really sweet, really beautiful. So just remember that name though, the figola. We've also got the summer and winter carnivals. So during the summer months in the end of August, and then during the winter in February, they do summer carnival, and the main processions are either on the island of Gozo or in the capital, Valletta. You can dance the day and nights away in there by joining in the carnival. They encourage all the kids to get in, get dressed up, get them dancing in the street. They've got parades that go down with colorful and extravagant floats, and they really encourage the the joining in and the merriment. So you can really enjoy the sort of local and international music that is there. So one of the other things that I will mention that's not on this slide is there's a festival that we have called Earth Garden, which is a celebration of music, diversity, and life. It's a real homegrown festival, but they have a really big international reputation, with international artists playing a range of genres from world music to reggae to ska. But it's not only just the music, there's a real big and expansive range of creative and cultural workshops that cater for all ages, and it's all within a beautiful national park on the island. So, kids can run around, mum and dad can watch them playing. It really get involved with everyone. And probably one of the highlights in the events calendar is the International Fireworks Festival, which is a beautiful day celebration, which culminates in a massive firework display over Valletta's Grand Harbour. So you can get down early to certain parts of Valletta itself. You know, you can join in again the street parade, not the street parades, the street parties, and, you know, mix with the locals. I mean, one of the biggest things that Malta is known for is that their locals are very hospitable. They, you know, they really look after their hospitality is second to none. So you can really get involved in everything that's in there. And maybe just another little one is throughout the year, they've got the town festas. So each little town around the islands of Malta throw their own little parties, and you can go down and really get in with the locals on their own little events. And I've actually personally taken agents to one of these that just happened to be going on while we were on a fam trip, and they thoroughly enjoyed and loved their time while they were doing it. So next slide, if you would. So just as we've seen, there is literally plenty to do for all ages and all types of families while they're on holiday in the stunning Maltese archipelago. And that's not only in the summer months, that includes the shoulder seasons of Easter and October as well. And I'm hoping we can maybe watch a little video that I have here, if we can get it to play. And fingers crossed, we have a bit of sound as well. So once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Apologies for the technical issues. It's just Sod's law that we did 2 rehearsals. Yeah, it worked absolutely perfect. And then we get to the time and it just doesn't work. But thank you again for everything. Thank
you very much, Peter. Right, no, these technical things happen. This is the delight of the world which we are currently stuck with. So I'm going to fire through some very quick questions because we are running a bit behind.
Of course.
And I want to get to you answering as many as I can do. So quick questions if I can do. Jan Ledger asks, are there places where you can go and do kite or windsurfing?
Yeah, there will be. So probably again further north of the islands, maybe away from the Valletta harbours. So certainly places like Budjaba, Melia as well. You can get up there where there's a little bit more of less of a shelter for the windsurfing. And actually, from personal experience, I've been up over on the north side, and we've seen it from Melia Bay and overlooking Melia Bay that people have been windsurfing in those areas.
Okay, thank you. Fantastic. Louise Walker asks, firework festival, is that, or when is that?
That's a very good question. Give me one sec. I've got it down here in my notes, but I didn't put it on the notes that I've got in front of me here. So we can answer that one later. Don't worry. You can come back. It's something we can search up. Okay. You asked, or you mentioned beaches a number of times in terms of different beaches. What would you say? You just mentioned a few that you lined up. Where would you recommend as the sort of best sandy beach for families? Oh God, it's going to vary depending on the family. It's going to depend on their personal preference, because some families prefer the big expansive beaches. Some families prefer the more smaller kind of like, personal beaches. But probably for me personally would be Melia Bay itself. It's just got that nice easy entryway point into the water. So again, the kids can splash and frolic, and mum and dad can keep an eye on them. There's some beach cafes in the area. There's some obviously water sports that can be done from there. And also there is some accommodation in the area there that are perfect for families. So certainly up in that north bit of the island and around Melia. Okay, fantastic. Eva James asks, opening times or whatever in terms of
she's got some clients who are looking to travel end of April. Are the islands open? I know we don't know whether we're allowed to travel yet because Boris hasn't spoken yet tonight.
Coming soon though, isn't it? So
but in terms of the sort of incoming flights and what have you, the system is in place, is it?
Yep, no, 100%. You know, that there was a meeting last week of the tourism minister and the prime minister. I think they are pretty much getting everything ready. And you know, the islands will be open as soon as pretty much we're ready to go. I do realistically probably think that we're going to be a little bit behind maybe the rest of Europe in terms of opening up. But certainly in terms of the actual destination, we will be ready to go as soon as the UK is ready to go as well.
Fantastic. I'm going to wrap up with one more. I'm just going to throw this in. This is not a question. This is Carol Smith saying that she loved your thing about your PADI certificate.
Yes.
She got her advanced one. She wants to let you know she's got her advanced one now. And she got that in Malta as well. And one last one, in terms of the music festivals, Donna Tweddle asks, are they likely to be going ahead?
I mean, it's all going to come down to regulations. I know that a lot of the festivals, especially that were going to be the earlier part of this year. So a lot of the festivals take place in kind of the April time, and coming back to the fireworks question, that is in April as well. I know a lot of them have been pushed into September. So for example, for the sort of young and lively market, maybe families that have got older teenagers, you know, Annie Mac has a festival called Lost and Found on the island. That's been moved from April to September. So I think a lot of things are still going ahead, but we're just postponing them to later into the year. So you'll probably see a lot of things going ahead sort of maybe the end of August, September, and certainly the start of October. And there's no issues around that because we are a year-round destination.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you very much for answering those questions.
Thanks very much for having me.
If I can now ask you to detail your prize and give us your competition question.
Yeah, absolutely. So the prize from the Malta Tourism Authority is a lovely Malta Tourism Authority goodie bag, packed with all the goodies that I know travel agents love, because I used to be an agent myself and I still use the pens that I used to get given when people used to come around. So it's got pens in its notebooks. We've got some key rings in there that are actually handmade Medina blown glass key rings. So just all the goodies that you need. So the question is, and I hope you listened when I said that you might need to remember this, but what is the name of the traditional almond pastry served at Easter that is often shaped like a rabbit, fish, or a heart? Okay, just to recap on that one, it's an MTA variety goodie bag, which I will have taken all the pens out of because I need them. And that is going to be coming to you. And the question is, what is the name of the traditional almond pastry, often shaped like a rabbit, fish, or a heart, that they serve at Easter? As I say, go to our website, travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition, and you will be able to answer all of today's wonderful prize questions. Thank you very much again, Peter, for that. Good luck to everyone. And as a final reminder, if you want to try and win one of today's prizes, you need to leave your answers at our website, travelbulletin.co.uk/webinar competition. And do that by Wednesday at 4 p.m. That's this Wednesday at 4 p.m. We're coming to the end of our wonderful Travel Bulletin webcast. If you want to watch it again or to recap on any of the information in the event, it's available from tomorrow on our website, also on YouTube, and it'll also be up on our Facebook page. Okay. I'm sure you all agree we've learned some wonderful information from today's partners. So thank you again to Dimitris, to Marlene, to Karen, and to Peter. Thank you for delivering such great family holidays themed presentations. If you would please give a big wave to everyone who's been watching today. Thank you, agents, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Simon.
And thank you, everyone, and thank you, wonderful people. We'll see you all again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks very much. Bye.